what's the difference between engineers who end up becoming CTOs and those who don't? Well, it has nothing to do with coding skills. It all comes down to one thing, and it's probably not what you think. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly how to sound like a leader in any room, whether you're talking to your team, your boss, the board of directors, anybody. I am Priyanka Vargadia, a leader in the tech industry for 15 plus years in Silicon Valley, and I have been in every type of room, from code reviews with junior developers to board presentations with Fortune 500 executives. And here's what I've learned. Sounding like a leader isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about mastering a specific set of communication patterns that I am about to break down. Here's the truth that nobody talks about. Most brilliant engineers never sound like leaders because they are optimizing for the wrong thing. When you're coding, precision matters. Every semicolon, every variable name, every edge case. But when you're leading, confidence and clarity matter more than being technically perfect. I used to think that if I just explained things thoroughly enough, people would naturally follow my lead. I would walk into meetings with 15-slide presentations early in my career when all I needed was one powerful statement. The breakthrough moment came when I realized that leaders don't win rooms with information. They win rooms with intention. Let me show you exactly what that means. After working with hundreds of tech executives, successful tech executives, I've discovered they all use the same 3 voice patterns. And I call them anchor, advocate, and architect. Now, the anchor pattern is how you establish credibility and calm in any room. Now, anchor speaks slower than everybody else. They pause before answering. When someone asks a question, instead of immediately responding, you take a pause, a breath, and say, "That's a great question." Or, "Here's how I see it. Let me show you this in action." Someone asks, "Are you going to make the Q4 deadline?" The anchor would respond, "That's a critical question. Based on what I am seeing from the team's velocity and our remaining scope, here's my assessment." Now, this does 2 things. It makes you appear thoughtful, and it gives you time to organize your thoughts. Now, watch any great CEO in an interview. They will never rush to fill silence. You got to become comfortable with the silence. Now, the advocate. This is how you champion ideas and people. Advocates use the word "we" in their language instead of "I." Instead of "I think we should do this," try using "we have an opportunity to." Or, "What if we explored?" This shifts you from presenter to a collaborator. Now, here's a real example. Someone asks, "Should we switch to microservices?" The advocate response would be, "We are at an interesting decision point. What if we explored how microservices could solve our scaling challenges while considering the team's readiness for the complexity?" But here's the advanced move. Advocates also know how to disagree like a leader. Now, instead of "that won't work because," try something like this. "I love the direction, and here's how we might strengthen it." Now, the architect. This is how you actually paint a vision and create clarity. Architects don't just solve problems. They frame problems. They start conversations with context. Now, here's what we're trying to achieve. The bigger picture is, this fits into our strategy because, perfect examples, someone could ask, "Why are we refactoring this legacy code?" The architect's response would be, "Here's the bigger picture. We are building a platform that can scale to 10 million users. This refactoring eliminates the bottleneck that would prevent us from reaching that goal." Now, let me show you how to adapt these patterns for different kinds of rooms that you might be in. So let's consider room 1 to be the technical deep dive room. when you're with engineers and architects. Now, in technical rooms, you earn respect through structured thinking, not just technical knowledge. So use the architect pattern. Now, here's the problem that we're solving. Here are the constraints we are working with. And here's the approach I recommend. Room 2 might be the executive briefing when you are presenting to senior leadership. With executives, lead with anchor pattern. They're making fast decisions with incomplete information. Give them confidence. Say, I've analyzed 3 options and here's my recommendation. Then be prepared to defend that calmly. Room 3 might be your team. When you're motivating your direct reports with your team, combine advocate and architect. Paint the vision, then bring them into the solution. Here's where we're going, and here's how each of you contribute to getting us there. Room 4 could be your cross-functional alignment when you are working with other teams and departments. This is where most technical leaders fail. You need to translate, not to educate. Use the advocate pattern. We share the same goal of delivering value to customers. Here's how the technical work supports that goal. Now, before I show you these patterns in action, let me warn you about the 3 things that instantly kill your leadership presence, and I call them authority destroyers. Now, number 1 of these destroyers is the question inflection. When you end your statements like a question, this makes you sound uncertain even when you're not. Now, a simple fix for this could be practicing ending statements with a period, not a question mark. So an example could be, instead of, I think we should deploy on Friday, say, I recommend we deploy on Friday. Now, number 2 of these destroyers could be qualifier overload. I might be wrong, but this is just my opinion. I could be off base here. These phrases train people to discount whatever you want to say after that. So replace them with something like, here's what I'm seeing based on the data. My recommendation is, right? Number 3 of these destroyers is getting lost in technical details when people need the big picture. Now, a real simple fix could be use the 30-second rule. Can you explain your point in 30 seconds? If not, you're probably in the details. Start with a conclusion, then offer to go deeper if they want details. Now, let me show you these patterns in action. Let's take a few real-life scenarios, sort of real life, and how you could sound authoritative like a leader. Let's say there's a system outage in your company, your payment system has gone down on a Black Friday, and you have to address your entire company, or at least your team, or your leadership team. Now, an old you could say something like, so we're having some technical issues with the payment gateway, and we are investigating several potential root causes. Now, that's information, not leadership. Instead, I could use something like this, an anchor pattern. We have a payment system issue that's affecting customer purchases. Here's what we know. Here's what we're doing about it. And here's when you will hear more from me. Here's a second scenario. There's a budget meeting and you need approval of, let's say, $2 million for an infrastructure investment from executive who really don't understand technical architecture. Now, this is what you could use. We are at a choice point. We can maintain our current infrastructure and accept slower performance, or we can invest in scalability that supports our 3-year growth plan. That's what I would end up doing, right? Here's the truth. You already have the technical skills to be a great leader. What you need now are the voice patterns that make people want to follow you into any role. Start with one pattern this week. Pick the anchor, advocate, or architect that feels more natural to you, and then practice it in your next 3 meetings. You will be amazed at how differently people respond to you. And if you want to dive deeper into how I have created my own influence without authority, here's the video I created. I'm sure you're going to like it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.